Luke had always liked quiet mornings on the frontier colony. The sky was wide and pale, and the wind carried the smell of metal dust from the old mining fields. He walked alone along the ridge, checking the worn sensor towers that protected the colony from storms and roaming wildlife. It was a simple job, but he enjoyed it. He liked fixing things. He liked being away from noise. That morning felt normal at first. The air was still. The sun was soft. The towers gave their usual low hum. But then something strange caught his eye. A trail of black smoke rose from behind a cluster of broken rocks. It was thin, but it didn't look like a natural fire. He frowned and climbed down the slope to check. As he got closer, he found pieces of scorched metal scattered on the ground. Some looked melted. Others looked crushed, like something had hit the earth from the sky. He knelt and touched the ground. It was warm. Too warm. Luke stood up, scanning the area. He had never seen wreckage like this. It didn't look human. It didn't look like anything he recognized. He pulled out his handheld scanner and waved it over the ruins. The device beeped strangely, showing energy readings that didn't make sense. He was about to call the colony outpost to report the find when he heard a sound. It was small, thin, and weak, almost like a cry. Luke froze. The sound came again, from behind a broken slab of metal. He moved slowly, pushing the debris aside. There, lying on the dusty ground, was a creature he had never seen in his life. It was small, no bigger than a house cat, but shaped like something out of an old legend. It had soft scales, dark as burnt coal, and tiny wings curled close to its sides. Its breathing was unsteady, shallow, and strained. Its tail twitched weakly. Its eyes were half open, glowing faintly with a dim light. Luke stared, not sure if he should be afraid or amazed. It looked like a dragon hatchling. But dragons were myths. Old stories parents told their children. No one had ever proven they existed. He slowly reached his hand out, unsure if it would bite. The hatchling didn't move. It only gave a weak, pained sound. "Hey, easy," Luke whispered, even though he knew the creature couldn't understand him. "I'm not going to hurt you." He looked around again. There were no signs of other creatures, no tracks, no shadows in the distance. Whatever had carried this hatchling here was gone, destroyed or vanished. The hatchling shivered. Luke felt a strange pull in his chest, a kind of worry he didn't fully understand. It was dying. The way its chest rose and fell told him that clearly. He lifted his scanner again and pointed it at the creature. The readings were unstable, jumping from one number to another. The device wasn't built to scan something like this. Luke took a deep breath. He knew what he should do. He should call the colony command. He should report the wreckage and the unknown creature. The military would come. Scientists would take the hatchling away. They would study it, lock it in a lab. But as he watched the small creature struggle to breathe, he felt something tighten inside him. He couldn't leave it alone. He couldn't let it die here. He knelt beside it, sliding his arms under its small body as gently as he could. The hatchling was warm, too warm, and its heartbeat was faint. As he lifted it, the creature tried to open its eyes fully. For a moment Luke thought he saw something behind those glowing eyes. Fear, pain, and something like hope. "It's okay," he whispered. "I'll take you somewhere safe." He wrapped the hatchling in his jacket to protect it from the cold air. The creature didn't resist. It simply curled slightly, as if trying to stay alive for just a little longer. Luke started down the ridge, careful with every step. He kept glancing behind him, expecting someone or something to appear. But the land stayed empty. Quiet. Too quiet. As he reached the main path leading back to the colony, he felt a sudden wave of doubt. What if he was making a mistake? What if the creature was dangerous? What if it attracted something powerful or worse? But then the hatchling made a small noise, weak but clear, and his doubt faded. The sound reminded him of a scared child trying not to cry. He tightened his hold on it. He knew one person who might help. Claire, the colony medic. She was kind. She didn't ask too many questions. She always helped anyone or anything in trouble. If anyone could save this strange creature, it was her. As he walked, Luke didn't notice the faint shimmer of light that briefly appeared around the hatchling. He didn't see how its glowing eyes flickered in his direction, as if trying to understand the human carrying it. All he knew was that he had found a dying creature in the ruins of something impossible, and he couldn't let it die. He kept walking, unaware that his choice would soon shake the entire realm far beyond the frontier colony. Luke hurried through the narrow paths of the frontier colony, keeping the hatchling wrapped in his jacket and held close to his chest. The morning was still quiet, and most people were either asleep or working indoors. That made it easier for him to move without drawing attention. He didn't want anyone to see what he was carrying. Not until he understood what it was. As he walked, the hatchling made soft, weak sounds. Each one tightened the worry inside him. Its breathing was still uneven, and its small body felt too warm in his arms. He hoped Claire was already awake. She always started her day early, preparing supplies in the clinic. He reached the medical building, a small structure made of metal panels and old glass. The door slid open with a faint hiss. Inside, the lights were dim, and the air smelled of antiseptic and herbs Claire liked to grow. Claire looked up from a desk when she heard him enter. She was in her early 30s, with calm eyes and a steady voice that always made people feel safe. She smiled automatically when she saw Luke. "You're up early," she said. "Did one of the towers break again?" "Not exactly," Luke said, closing the door behind him. He looked around the room, making sure no one else was there. "Claire, I need your help, and you can't tell anyone about this yet. Please." Her smile faded slightly. "Luke, what's going on?" He walked closer and slowly opened the jacket. Claire leaned forward, expecting a wounded animal or maybe a piece of strange tech. Instead, her eyes widened, and she stepped back in shock. What is that?" she whispered. "I don't know," Luke said, "but it's dying. I found it near some kind of crash site. It was alone." Claire stared at the hatchling, her face showing a mix of fear, awe, and curiosity. She reached out carefully, touching its tiny wing with the tip of her finger. "Its scales are warm," she said softly, "and its breathing is shallow. Whatever it is, it needs help immediately. Put it on the table." Luke placed the hatchling gently on the medical bed. Claire moved quickly, gathering tools, scanners, and bandages. She worked with calm hands, the same way she treated every patient. First, she checked its breathing, then its heartbeat. She frowned as she listened. Its pulse is irregular, and its temperature is far too high. It's burning through energy faster than it can handle. She picked up a medical scanner and hovered it above the hatchling. The device beeped and flickered, struggling to read the creature. Strange symbols appeared on the screen, shifting rapidly. "This doesn't make sense," Claire said. "Its energy levels are unstable, almost like it's holding something inside it, something powerful." Luke watched nervously. "Can you help it?" "I can try," she said, "but I've never treated anything like this." She prepared a small tube of cooling gel and gently spread it along the hatchling's chest and wings. The creature twitched, letting out a soft sound. Claire kept working, adjusting its position, giving it light oxygen support, and trying to stabilize its temperature. After several long minutes, the hatchling's breathing eased slightly. The glow in its half-closed eyes flickered again, a little stronger. Luke let out a breath he didn't realize he had been holding. "Is it going to be okay?" Claire hesitated. "I don't know yet, but it's responding. That's a good sign." She stepped back and studied the creature. "Luke, this thing looks like a dragon. You know that, right?" "Yeah," he said. "I thought the same, but dragons don't exist." "Maybe we were wrong," Claire said quietly. There was a short moment of silence. The room felt heavier now, filled with questions neither of them could answer. Suddenly, the medical scanner on the counter beeped loudly. Claire frowned and grabbed it. Strange readings flashed across the screen, sharp spikes of energy. "This is coming from outside," she said. "Something big, something powerful." Luke stepped to the window. The sky looked calm, but the scanner kept beeping. "You said you found wreckage?" Claire asked. "Yeah," Luke said. Something crashed, but nothing human. Then whatever it was, something may be looking for it. Luke's stomach tightened. He looked at the hatchling. Its small body shivered again, as if sensing the same danger. Claire placed a hand on his arm. Luke, we need to be careful. If something is searching for this creature, it might come here. And we have no idea what it is capable of. I know, Luke said quietly. But I couldn't leave it out there. It would have died. Claire nodded. You did the right thing. But now we have to think ahead. We need to keep it hidden until we understand what's happening. Luke looked at the hatchling again. His breathing was slow but steady now. Curled slightly, almost as if it sensed safety for the first time. I'll stay with it, he said. If anything happens, I'll protect it. Claire gave him a worried look but didn't argue. I'll prepare supplies, and I'll run more tests once it rests. But Luke, understand this, whatever this creature is, it's not ordinary, and saving it might change everything. Luke nodded. He didn't know what the next hours would bring. He didn't know who or what might come searching. He only knew one thing: he had made a choice. And that choice was already pulling him toward something far bigger than he could imagine. The hours passed slowly, and the quiet inside the clinic felt heavier than ever. Luke stayed near the hatchling, watching every small rise and fall of its chest. Claire checked its condition often, adjusting equipment and taking notes, though none of her tools seemed able to fully understand the creature. Outside, the colony remained peaceful, but Luke couldn't shake the feeling that something was approaching. The strange energy readings Claire had detected kept echoing in his mind. He tried to tell himself everything was fine, yet the uneasy pressure in the air felt wrong. As afternoon settled over the colony, Claire looked up from her instruments. Luke, she said softly, I'm picking up more unusual signals, stronger than before. Luke stood and walked to her side. The scanner screen flashed with unstable patterns that looked nothing like normal energy readings. Whatever crashed, Claire said. It wasn't small, and whatever is searching now, it's much bigger. Before Luke could respond, a sharp alarm rang across the colony. It came from the main comm tower, an alert that something large had entered the sky above the settlement. That's the orbital warning alarm, Luke said, heart pounding. Something's dropping out of orbit. Claire looked toward the window, fear filling her eyes. We need to hide the hatchling. Now. Luke wrapped the fragile creature in his jacket again, as gently as he could. Its eyes opened slightly, glowing with a faint light. It made a soft noise, almost like it sensed the danger too. Come on, Luke said. I know a place. He and Claire slipped out the back door of the clinic, moving quickly through the quiet paths of the colony. Most people had already run indoors after the alarm, giving them a chance to avoid questions. As they hurried toward the edge of the settlement, Luke glanced up. The sky, once clear, now shimmered with a streak of light, a massive shadow beginning to push through the clouds. That's not human, Claire whispered. I know, Luke said. Their destination was an old research outpost that had been abandoned years earlier. It sat at the far end of the colony, hidden behind storage crates and unused mining machines. Most people had forgotten about it, which made it the safest place he could think of. Luke pushed open the rusty door. The inside smelled of dust and old metal, but the shadows offered cover. He placed the hatchling on a padded bench, keeping it wrapped. Claire checked its breathing again. Its temperature is rising. It might be reacting to whatever is up there. Luke turned toward the cracked window. The large shape in the sky grew clearer now. It wasn't a ship like humans used. It was darker, sharper, almost alive in the way it moved. Claire, Luke said, we need to stay quiet. Whatever that is, it's searching. The hatchling made another faint sound, and a sudden image flashed in Luke's mind. Fire, broken metal, towering figures, a scream of terror. He staggered slightly. Claire grabbed his arm. Luke, what happened? I think it showed me something, he whispered, trying to steady himself. Like a memory. A telepathic link? Claire said. Is that even possible? I don't know, Luke said, but it felt real. Whatever attacked it, it was terrifying. Before Claire could respond, a deep rumble shook the ground. Dust fell from the ceiling. Luke moved toward the window again. The giant vessel descended lower. Its surface glowed with strange symbols. Bright beams of light scanned the land in slow sweeps. "It's searching the colony," Claire whispered. "For the hatchling," Luke said. "It has to be." Another beam of light passed dangerously close to the research building. Luke stepped back, holding his breath. The hatchling stirred again, glowing faintly inside the jacket. Claire placed a hand on its head, trying to calm it. "Stay with us," she whispered. "We're trying to help you." The rumbling outside grew louder. Machines within the vessel shifted, their movements echoing through the air like thunder. "Luke," Claire said, "if this ship finds the hatchling, we don't know what it will do. We might be putting the colony in danger." "We can't give it up," Luke said. "Not without knowing what it wants." "Then we need a plan," Claire said. But before either of them could think of one, the vessel released a sharp, piercing sound, a signal of some kind. Luke covered his ears. The hatchling shivered violently, its small body glowing brighter. "Luke!" Claire cried. "It's reacting to the signal." He rushed to the bench, placing his hands gently around the creature. Hey, it's okay. You're safe. Stay with us." The glow pulsed once, then faded. The strange ship hovered for a long moment, scanning the colony with one final sweep. Then, slowly, it began to pull back, rising into the sky. Luke exhaled in relief. "It's leaving, for now." Claire looked at him with worry. "This isn't over." That ship was searching. And next time, they might come closer. Luke nodded. He looked down at the hatchling, which now rested quietly again. "Whatever you are," he whispered, "you're not just lost. You're being hunted, and we need to protect you before they come back." The next morning arrived with a quiet tension that wrapped itself around the entire colony. People moved carefully through the streets, whispering about the strange lights in the sky and the alarms from the previous day. No one had clear answers, only rumors, and the uncertainty made everyone uneasy. Inside the abandoned research outpost, Luke sat beside the hatchling, watching it sleep. It looked a little stronger than before, though its breathing still held a faint tremble. Claire entered with a small case of medical tools and closed the door behind her. "The colony is nervous," she said. "The governor called an emergency meeting. Everyone wants to know what appeared above us yesterday." Luke nodded but didn't look away from the hatchling. They didn't see the ship clearly. "No," Claire said, "and we can't let them see this creature either. Not until we know the truth." Before Luke could respond, a sudden tremor shook the building. The metal walls rattled, and dust drifted from the ceiling. Claire grabbed the bench to steady herself. "Please tell me that wasn't another ship," she said. Luke moved to the cracked window. Outside, a bright flash of light struck the ground beyond the colony's border. The earth shook again, and a deep roar echoed through the air. "That wasn't a ship," Luke said quietly. "That was something landing." Another flash followed, then another. 3 bursts of shimmering white light formed in the clearing beyond the colony. Claire's eyes widened. "Luke, those aren't machines. They look like beings." Figures began to take shape within the glowing light. Large, towering forms with long limbs, scaled armor, and wings folded tightly against their backs. Their eyes shone like burning embers. They were dragons, yet not like the small hatchling. These were tall, humanoid, powerful, walking upright with a grace that felt both ancient and dangerous. Luke stepped back from the window, breath caught in his throat. "They're here. They found us." One of the tall dragon figures raised a hand, and a heavy voice thundered across the plain. "Bring us the lost one. Now." Claire looked at Luke, panic rising in her voice. "They know it's here. They might not know who has it," Luke said, "but it won't take long for them to search every building." He looked at the hatchling. "We can't let them take it until we know what they plan to do." Claire shook her head. "Luke, those things are huge. We can't hide forever." Before he could answer, The door of the outpost shook violently. Someone or something was outside. Luke grabbed his jacket and wrapped the hatchling again. He held it close and stepped toward the door. "Luke, what are you doing?" Claire whispered. "If they're looking for it, they'll tear the colony apart until they find it," Luke said. "Better to face them than let anyone get hurt." Claire hesitated, then nodded. "I'm coming with you." Luke pushed open the door. The sunlight flooded in, and the towering dragon Envoys turned toward him instantly. Their glowing eyes locked onto the bundle in his arms. The largest envoy stepped forward. Its scales were deep silver, and its wings flickered with faint light. When it spoke, its voice vibrated the air. "Human, you carry the lost heir." Luke swallowed hard. "I found it alone. Hurt. I didn't know what it was, but I couldn't let it die." The envoy lowered its head slightly, as if studying him. Then it spoke again, softer this time. "You touched the dying flame and yet live. Curious. Unexpected. Rare." Claire stepped beside Luke. "What do you want with it?" A second envoy moved closer. Its eyes were fierce, sharp. "The hatchling you shelter is the last heir of our royal line. We seek its return. Its survival determines the future of our people." Luke tightened his grip protectively. "If you want it back, tell us why it was alone. What attacked it? What destroyed the ship your hatchling came from?" The envoys looked at each other. Silent communication passed between them. Finally, the silver envoy stepped forward again. "An ancient enemy," it said. "A machine empire that once sought to destroy all life. They have returned. Our forces fell. Our prince escaped in a pod. But barely. We have searched across worlds to find him." Claire's voice softened with pity. "So this little one, he is our future," the envoy said. "And now, he has bonded with you, human." Luke frowned. "Bonded? I don't understand." "He has chosen you," the envoy said. "Your presence keeps his strength from fading. Without you, he will die." Claire stepped back in surprise. "So Luke saved him not just by chance, but because he was important to him?" The envoy nodded. "And now you stand at a crossroads. Return him and we leave in peace. Refuse, and we will not allow our heir to remain in danger." The threat was clear, even if unspoken. Luke looked down at the small hatchling in his arms. Its eyes opened, glowing softly. It made a weak sound, turning its head toward him, not toward the envoys. Trusted him. He took a slow breath. "I'll go with you," Luke said. "But I'm not handing him over unless I know he'll be safe." For the first time, the envoy bowed its head. "Then come, human. The future of our realm may rest in your hands." Luke walked beside the tall dragon envoys, unsure if he was making the right choice, but knowing he had no other option. Claire stayed close, watching every movement around them with sharp eyes. The hatchling rested quietly in Luke's arms, its breathing slow and warm against his chest. The envoys led them across the open plain beyond the colony. The ground showed marks of something large having landed earlier, deep circular impressions left by powerful energy. The sky above felt heavy, as if the air itself knew something important was happening. Luke glanced at Claire. "Are you okay?" "I'm trying to be," she said. "This is a lot. But we're in it now. We can't back out." When they reached the center of the clearing, the silver envoy raised a hand. The air shimmered, and a swirling portal of light opened in front of them. Unlike the harsh beams from the enemy ship earlier, this light felt warm and alive. "Step through," the envoy said. "Our transport waits." Luke tightened his hold on the hatchling. "Is it safe?" "You carry the heir," the envoy said simply. "You will not be harmed." Luke exchanged a look with Claire. She gave him a small nod, though worry still filled her face. Together, they stepped through the portal. A soft warmth surrounded them, and then they found themselves inside a vast chamber. It looked part organic, part metallic, as if grown rather than built. Glowing veins of light ran along the walls, pulsing slowly like a heartbeat. Luke stared in awe. This is your ship?" "One of our few remaining vessels," the silver envoy said. Our kingdom has suffered great loss. Another envoy stepped forward. She was smaller than the others, with pale blue scales that shimmered gently. She approached the hatchling with care. "May I?" she asked. Luke hesitated, then loosened the jacket. The envoy placed her hand gently on the hatchling's head. A soft glow spread beneath her palm. "He is weak," she said. "His energy core is unstable. The machines have wounded him deeply." Luke looked worried. "Can you heal him?" "We can help," she said. "But not fully." The machines struck him with a weapon meant to erase life. Only the bond stabilizing him keeps him from fading. Claire crossed her arms. "Bond with Luke? How does that work?" The envoy looked at her calmly. "Our young choose their lifeline when near death. They reach for a presence that gives them strength. The heir chose him." Luke felt a strange tightness in his chest. "So, he needs me to live?" "Yes," the envoy said. "Without you, his heart fire would extinguish." Claire stepped closer to Luke. "That means you can't leave him alone. Ever. Not until he recovers." Luke looked down at the hatchling. Its tiny claws moved weakly, clutching the fabric of his jacket. Somehow he felt the creature's fear and its trust. "I won't leave you," Luke whispered to it. The silver envoy nodded, as if approving his words. "There is more you must understand," he said. "The machines that attacked our kingdom seek the destruction of all living realms. They will not stop until they find the heir and end our line completely." Claire frowned. "But why? Why target your royalty specifically?" "Our royalty carries the core flame," the envoy explained. "A power the machines fear. A power that can destroy them." Luke blinked. "So this little one could one day fight them?" "Yes," the envoy said. "And because of that, they chased him across the stars. Many of our people fell to protect him." Silence filled the chamber for a moment. Then Claire asked quietly, "What do you expect from us?" The silver envoy stepped closer. "We require your help. The heir chose the human. That bond cannot be broken without great harm. And so the human must remain with him as he grows. He must travel with us, learn our ways, understand the threat we face." Luke's heart pounded. "You're asking me to leave my home? To go with you into some kind of war? Your world is already in danger," the envoy said. "The machines have seen it. They will return. Without the heir, your people will not survive." Claire stepped between Luke and the envoy. "If he goes, I go too. He can't do this alone. And I'm not letting you take him without someone who can protect him." The envoys looked at each other. Then the silver one nodded. "Your courage is noted, healer. You may accompany him." Luke felt a rush of relief. "Thank you, Claire." She gave him a short, soft smile. "Did you really think I'd let you run off into space with dragon royalty by yourself?" Before Luke could respond, the hatchling shifted. Its eyes opened wider than before, glowing brighter. It reached a tiny claw toward Luke's hand. "He is responding to you," the pale envoy said. "Your presence gives him strength." Luke touched the hatchling gently. Warmth spread through him, followed by a faint echo of the creature's emotions: fear, exhaustion, and hope. For a moment, Luke forgot the envoys, the machines, and the danger. He saw only the fragile life depending on him. "Whatever comes next," he whispered, "I'll face it. For you." The silver envoy stepped back and spread his wings slightly. "Then prepare yourselves, humans. The truth of our broken kingdom awaits, and with it, the future of every realm threatened by the machines." Luke woke to a soft hum that felt like it was coming from the walls themselves. For a moment he was confused, unsure of where he was. Then he remembered the dragon ship, the hatchling, and the promise he made. Claire was already awake, sitting on a bench grown smoothly from the wall. She looked tired but alert. When she saw Luke open his eyes, she gave him a small smile. "Morning," she said quietly. "If it is morning," Luke replied, rubbing his face. "I can't tell." The chamber had no windows, only soft flowing lights along the walls that brightened when they spoke and dimmed when they were silent, as if listening. Luke sat up. The hatchling lay curled beside him, its tiny body pressed against his hip. His breathing was steady, stronger than before. Claire watched him look at the little creature. Did he wake up during the night? Once, Luke said. He seemed scared, but he calmed down when I touched him. Claire nodded. That's the bond. You're like his anchor now. Before Luke could respond, the door slid open with a soft sigh. The pale blue envoy from the day before stepped in. You are awake, she said gently. Good. The council waits. Luke frowned. The council? The leaders who remain, she explained. They must meet you, the human chosen by the heir. They have questions, and they hold decisions that will shape what comes next. Claire stood up. We'll follow. The envoy led them out of the chamber and into a long corridor. Like everything else on the ship, the walls curved naturally, as if grown from living stone. Veins of soft white light ran along them, guiding their way. As they walked, Luke looked at the hatchling in his arms. It was awake now, blinking up at him with bright golden eyes. It made a small sound, almost like a chirp. Claire smiled. He likes you. You know that, right? Luke felt warmth spread through his chest. I didn't really do anything. Sometimes being there is enough, Claire said. Soon they reached a tall archway that opened into a large circular room. The ceiling rose high above, decorated with patterns of swirling lights that moved like stars being born. Inside the room stood 6 dragon envoys, larger and more regal than the others. Some had shimmering scales, some dark like obsidian, others glowing faintly with inner fire. These were the council. The silver envoy stepped forward. The human arrives, the one chosen by the heir. Luke swallowed hard. Claire touched his arm lightly, reminding him he wasn't alone. One of the council members, a tall envoy with deep red scales, spoke first. Human Luke, we greet you. You carry the last hope of our kingdom. Luke bowed awkwardly. I'm not sure I deserve that responsibility, but I'll try my best to help him. Another envoy, this one with green shimmering scales, tilted her head. You speak with honesty. That is good. Humans have always been unpredictable, but not without heart. Claire whispered. That was almost a compliment. Luke tried not to smile. The red envoy stepped closer, examining the hatchling quietly. The little creature stared back, clutching Luke's shirt. The bond between you is strong already, the red envoy said. You feel his fear, don't you? Luke hesitated. Yes, sometimes. It's like a small voice in the back of my mind. Not words, just feelings. Good, the envoy said. That means the heart fire within him has recognized you. You are now tied to his survival. Claire stepped forward. What does that mean for him? For us? An older envoy with dark gray scales answered. It means the machines will hunt him harder than ever. And because he has chosen the human, they will hunt the human as well. Luke felt a cold weight settle in his stomach. So this bond puts a target on me. Yes, the envoy said. But you also gain protection. As long as he lives, you share a small part of his flame. A small part of his strength. Luke looked down at the hatchling. I didn't ask for any of this. But I can't walk away from him now. The council seemed to approve of his answer. The pale envoy stepped beside him. The machines have destroyed many of our homes, she said. Worlds have fallen to their metal claw. But with the heir alive, there is still a chance. He must grow, learn, awaken his true flame. And for that, you must stay by him. And what about us? Claire asked. What are we supposed to do? The silver envoy answered. You are his shield, his guide, his voice when he cannot speak. The heir must trust someone, and he has chosen the human. That trust extends to you as well. Claire nodded slowly. I'll protect him, and I'll protect Luke. Luke felt a small burst of gratitude. The red envoy lifted his head. There is one more thing. The machines have found the trail. They know the heir survived. It is only a matter of time before they arrive. Luke felt the hatchling cling tighter to him. He held it close. So what do we do? Luke asked. We prepare, the gray envoy said. You must learn what it means to stand with our kind. And you must understand the danger that comes. The machines will not stop. Not until they erase the flame from all realms. Claire exhaled slowly. Then we better get ready. Because we're not letting them take him. Luke nodded. We're with you. Whatever it takes. The silver envoy stepped forward. Wings unfolding slightly. Then your training begins now. The fate of countless worlds depends on what you choose to become. Luke stood in the middle of a vast training hall deep inside the dragon ship. The room felt alive, its walls shifting gently as if breathing. Soft lights glowed from the ceiling, moving in slow patterns like clouds drifting across a calm sky. Claire stood beside him, her arms crossed as she looked around. This place is bigger than our whole colony, she whispered. Yeah, Luke said. And it feels like it's watching us. Before Claire could answer, the silver envoy stepped into the room. His tall figure and shining scales made him seem like a living statue carved from moonlight. Your training begins now, he said. The heir depends on you, and so do we. Luke held the hatchling gently in his arms. The small creature blinked at the envoy, letting out a soft chirp. Another envoy entered, this one dark green with patterns that looked like growing vines. She carried a small crystal sphere. I am here to observe the bond, she said softly, to see how it reacts under pressure. Luke's heart skipped. Pressure? What kind of pressure? The lights dimmed, the walls shifted, and suddenly the floor began to glow with lines of bright white light, forming a circle around them. Claire stepped closer to Luke. Just stay calm. Whatever this is, we'll face it together. The silver envoy raised his hand. We begin with something simple. Show us how the heir responds when you are threatened. Luke blinked. Threatened? Wait. The floor shook softly. From the glowing circle a projection rose, shaped like a tall metal figure with empty eyes. It wasn't real, but it looked close enough to the machines that Luke felt a chill run through him. Claire whispered, It's just a projection. They're testing him, not us. But the hatchling felt the fear. It tensed, its tiny claws gripping Luke's shirt. Luke held it closer. It's okay. I'm not going anywhere. The metal figure stepped forward. Instantly the hatchling let out a soft but sharp sound, almost like a warning. A faint glow formed around its tiny body. The green envoy leaned forward. The bond reacts quickly, stronger than expected. As the projection moved again, the hatchling's eyes glowed brighter. Luke felt a surge of heat spread through his chest, like the creature's fear and strength were flowing into him. His breath caught. What is this? Shared energy, the silver envoy explained. You feel his fear, his instinct to protect. This is the beginning of your connection. The projection raised an arm. The hatchling made another sound, louder this time. The glow around it flickered. Claire stepped forward. That's enough. You're scaring him. Fear reveals strength, the silver envoy said. And trust. Luke felt the hatchling's panic. He knelt down, lowering himself to the floor. Hey, look at me. It's not real. I'm with you. You're safe. Slowly, the hatchling looked up at him. His glow faded just a little. Luke placed his hand against the creature's small head. I won't let anything hurt you. I promise. The hatchling breathed in softly, almost like it understood. The projection froze. Then it dissolved into light. Claire let out a breath she'd been holding. Finally, that was too much. The green envoy stepped forward. But effective. The heir trusts the human. Deeply. Luke stood up slowly, feeling the warmth in his chest fade. I don't want him to be afraid. He's already been through too much. Fear is part of growth, the silver envoy said. But the bond calms him. That is what we needed to see. Claire walked up to Luke. Are you okay? You looked like you were burning up for a second. I'm fine, he said. I just felt him, like he was inside my chest for a moment. She nodded. That's the bond getting stronger. Before they could say more, a low alarm echoed through the hall. It wasn't loud, but it carried weight. The silver envoy stiffened. The machines have entered our region of space. They are closer than expected. Luke felt the hatchling press against him, trembling. So what do we do? Claire asked. We move, the Silver Envoy said. We cannot stay here, and the human must learn faster. The machines will not wait. The Green Envoy touched the glowing floor, and new paths opened around them. Prepare yourselves, she said. Your next trial begins soon. This time, the danger will be real. Luke held the hatchling close. Claire stood at his side. Whatever came next, they would face it together. The ship's halls pulsed with dim red light as the alarm continued its low warning tone. Luke held the hatchling close, feeling its tiny heartbeat racing against his chest. Claire stayed right beside him, her steps steady even as tension filled the air around them. The Silver Envoy led the way, moving fast but with purpose. The machines are closing in, he said. They have followed our trail across the stars. We cannot outrun them any longer. Claire frowned. So we fight. We defend, the envoy replied. And we buy time for the heir. Luke swallowed hard. What do you need us to do? Another envoy, this one with glowing white scales, joined them. The heir must be taken to the heart chamber. It is the only place aboard where his flame can be stabilized during an attack. Luke tightened his grip on the hatchling. I'll take him there. Just tell me the way. You will not go alone, the Silver Envoy said. The machines know he is here. They will try to cut you off. We will guide you. They reached a tall circular door that opened with a soft hum. Beyond it was a wide passage filled with thin streams of glowing particles drifting in the air like floating dust. This tunnel leads to the heart chamber, the White Envoy said. Hurry. They stepped inside. As soon as they entered, the ship shook. A deep sound echoed through the corridors. Metal against metal, something crashing into the hull. Claire grabbed the wall to steady herself. They're already here? Yes, the envoy said. They waste no time. Luke felt the hatchling tremble. He whispered, I know you're scared. I am too. But I'm here. I won't let go. The creature let out a soft, weak chirp and pressed closer. Suddenly, part of the wall ahead cracked open, and a long metal limb pushed through, thin, sharp, and glowing with cold blue light. Claire gasped. They're cutting in. Stay behind me, the Silver Envoy ordered. The metal limb swung toward them, but the envoy moved faster than Luke could follow. With one swipe of his arm, a flash of silver light shot out, slicing the metal limb clean through. The severed piece hit the floor and dissolved into blue sparks. Move, the envoy shouted. They ran deeper into the tunnel. The ship shook again, this time stronger. Faint sounds of battle echoed through the distant halls, a mix of energy blasts and the roars of dragon envoys defending their ship. We're running out of time, Claire said between breaths. The heart chamber is close, the White Envoy said. Just ahead. They reached another circular door, and it opened to reveal a large, glowing chamber. The walls were covered in flowing patterns of light that pulsed softly, like a living heartbeat. In the center stood a raised platform shaped like a nest, made of smooth white stone. Place the heir there, the envoy said. Luke hesitated, then gently set the hatchling onto the platform. Instantly, thin streams of light rose from the stone, wrapping around the hatchling like warm threads. The creature relaxed, its breathing steadying. He will be protected here, the White Envoy said. But you must stay with him. The bond will help stabilize the flame. Luke stepped closer, placing his hand on the small creature's head. The light reacted, glowing brighter. Claire stood at his side, her eyes scanning the room. What about the machines? They're not going to stop. The Silver Envoy turned toward the door. We will hold them back as long as we can. But be ready. Some may still reach this chamber. If they do, you must protect him. Luke nodded. We will. I promise. The envoys rushed out, leaving the two humans alone with the glowing hatchling. For a moment, the chamber was calm. Then the ship shook violently. Lights flickered. Claire tensed. They're getting through the defenses. Luke kept his hand on the hatchling, feeling its warmth. Stay with me, he whispered, And then, to their horror, the door began to glow blue. Claire stepped forward. That's the machine's energy. They're cutting through. Luke stood up quickly. Get behind me. Luke. Please. I can feel him. He's scared. I have to stand between him and whatever comes in. Claire hesitated, then nodded and got beside him instead, refusing to leave his side. The door split open. 3 machine drones stepped inside. Tall, metallic creatures with long limbs and glowing blue cores. Their heads turned in unison toward the platform. Luke felt the hatchling's fear explode through the bond. And something inside him sparked. Heat rushed through his body, spreading from his chest to his arms. His vision flickered with golden light. Claire gasped. Luke, your eyes, they're glowing. Luke didn't understand what was happening. But he knew one thing. He had to protect the hatchling. The first machine lunged. Luke raised his arm on instinct. A burst of golden light shot from his hand, slamming into the metal creature and throwing it across the room. Claire stared in shock. What was that? Luke looked at his hands, glowing with faint golden sparks. I don't know. Came from him. The bond. The hatchling, lying on the platform, opened its eyes, now burning with bright flame. The glow spread from it to Luke like a thin thread of fire. The machines lunged again. Claire grabbed a fallen piece of metal from the floor, swinging it like a staff at the second machine, knocking it back. We're not letting you touch him. Luke stepped forward, raising his glowing hands again. Stay away. A wave of golden energy burst outward, slamming into the machines and sending them crashing into the walls. One by one, their cores flickered, then died. Silence fell. Luke fell to one knee, breathing hard. The glow faded from his hands. Claire rushed to him. Luke, are you okay? Yeah, he whispered. Just tired. She helped him up and looked at the hatchling. The small creature watched Luke with glowing eyes, no longer afraid. Instead, it radiated warmth and trust. Claire smiled softly. He saved you. And you saved him. Luke gently touched the hatchling again. We saved each other. As the room steadied and the lights brightened again, footsteps approached. The silver envoy entered, injured but standing. You protected the heir, he said, voice filled with awe. And in doing so, the bond has awakened. The flame has chosen you fully. Luke looked confused. What does that mean? It means, the envoy said slowly, that the future of our kingdom, and perhaps all realms, now rests with you and the heir together. Claire placed a hand on Luke's shoulder. Whatever comes next, we'll face it. All of us. The silver envoy bowed his head. Then the new chapter begins. The machines will return. But now they will not face a powerless heir, nor an unchosen human. Luke lifted the hatchling gently into his arms. Let them come, he whispered. We're ready.